Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Let's start with the RBI circular related to December 2025 month. This is the part 1 of the video. Let's start the discussion. So the very first thing guys here is 620th meeting of the Central Board of the Reserve Bank of India. In the 620th meeting of the Central Board of the Directors of Reserve Bank of India, they discussed about the global and domestic economic situation. At the same time, they have approved the रिस्क बेस्ड डिपॉजिट इंश्योरेंस फ्रेमवर्क. तो यहाँ पे रिस्क बेस्ड डिपॉजिट इंश्योरेंस फ्रेमवर्क फॉर बैंक हैज बीन अप्रूव्ड इन दी 620th मीटिंग ऑफ द सेंट्रल बोर्ड of the Reserve Bank of India. Now what this risk based deposit insurance framework is all about? So deposit insurance means, let's suppose you have 1 crore with a particular bank in India, say for example PNB Bank. You have 1 crore as deposits in this particular bank. Now how safe is your 1 crore with PNB Bank, which is a public sector bank, right? Which is a public sector bank. How safe is your 1 crore? Your 1 crore is safe only up to 5 lakh rupees as of now. Now what is this 5 lakh rupee? It is deposit insurance. Just like you have your own term plan, you have LICs, you have different insurance policies. Just like that, bank also do take a insurance policy on your deposit. What if the bank goes down? What if the bank goes bankrupt? Then what will happen to your deposit? This is a kind of risk, and for covering this risk, banks are also taking insurance for protecting your deposits. That's what deposit insurance is. So as of now in India, as per DICGC cover, Deposit Insurance Guarantee Corporation, we do have an entity DICGC, which is actually a wholly owned subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India की wholly owned subsidiary है, वो आपको insurance देती है up to the maximum insurance coverage of 5 lakh rupee per depositor in India, right? This is the existing limit. And what do you mean by wholly owned subsidiary? That means RBI owns 100% of share capital of DICGC. So whatever the share capital of DICGC is, RBI is the 100% holder. That's what makes it a wholly owned subsidiary, WOS, of the Reserve Bank of India as of now. And this entity is protecting you guys for deposits up to 5 lakh rupee. आपका पैसा जो है वो 5 लाख तक ही protected है, rest आपका protected नहीं है, right? This is the existing limit. Now what this risk based framework is all about? As of now, we do have what kind of framework in India? So as of now, we do have a flat rate model in India, and we are shifting to the risk based premium model in India, right? So what is this flat rate model as of now? So every bank is paying premium to the DICGC. Just like you guys are paying premium to LIC, to HDFC Life, to different insurers, in the same manner, the banks are paying premium to the DICGC. What is the premium? 12 paisa per 100 rupee deposit. So if somebody has deposited 100 rupee in your bank, you want to get an insurance against this 100 rupee, then you need to pay 12 paisa to the DICGC. Can I say that this is a flat premium? This is a flat premium which will depend on the amount of the deposit. 1000 हो गया तो 12 पैसा multiplied by 10 हो जाएगा. In the same manner, I can say the more the deposits, the higher will be your premium. So it is lined directly with the deposit amount and not with the risk basis, right? This is a flat model. This is not a risk based approach. And in India, we like risk based approach. Why? Because हर कोने पे आपके यहाँ पे financial institutions हो गए, insurance companies हो गई, everywhere risk is there. So that's why I will say that risk based model is far more better than the flat rate model. So as of now, we are transitioning towards the risk based model. Sir, what do you mean by risk based model? Now let's suppose if I talk about PNB Bank, if I talk about SBI or HDFC, or maybe Yes Bank, do you think that the risk in all the banks are same only? If you invest your money in SBI or HDFC Bank versus if you are investing your money in Yes Bank, in IndusInd Bank, are you taking the same amount of risk? No. The answer is no. Yes Bank में काफ़ी ज़्यादा risk होगी, you'll be having a very high risk in Yes Bank as compared to HDFC Bank deposits. If you deposit 1 crore rupee in your HDFC Bank, risk बहुत कम है. But if you deposit 1 crore rupee in Yes Bank, risk will increase as compared to HDFC Bank. No doubt in both the banks your deposits are insured up to 5 lakh rupee only. But can I say that Yes Bank में थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा risk है as compared to HDFC Bank, and that's a problem which RBI wants to sort. And they have already sorted by approving the risk-based deposit insurance framework for banks in India. So now we don't have to pay flat insurance premium, right? The banks don't have to pay flat insurance premium. Rather, they will be paying a risk-based premium. So can I say that if the bank is having strong capital adequacy, they do have better asset quality, they do have strong governance, then they need to pay lower premiums as compared to the bank which is not having that much adequate capital or asset quality, or there are some corporate governance issues, then you need to pay higher amount of premium also. So can I say that this is a very good approach, and we are moving from flat rate to the risk based premium model approach here, right? So this will definitely promotes risk management. यहाँ पर रिस्क मैनेजमेंट बेटर हो जाएगा. पहले अब येस बैंक भी ट्राई करेगा कि यार मैं ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बफर्स रखूँ. वाई? बिकॉज आई वांट टू लोअर माय डिपॉजिट प्रीमियम. अर्लियर बोथ HDFC बैंक एंड येस बैंक both were paying trail paisa. Now HDFC Bank will not pay more than Yes Bank because of the higher, I will say, quality, or I can say better capital requirements, strong returns, right? So this will also reduce the moral hazards as of now. It will eliminate the cross subsidization. अब पहले क्या हो रहा था, HDFC बैंक भी 12 पैसा भर रहा था, Yes Bank भी 12 पैसा भर रहा था, तो मैं क्या बोल सकता हूँ, Yes Bank ज़्यादा रिस्क लेने के बाद भी 12 पैसा भर रहा था. बट एट द सेम टाइम HDFC बैंक कम रिस्क लेने के बाद भी 12 पैसा भर रहा था, तो मैं क्या बोल सकता हूँ, ये सब ऑफसेट हो रहा है. जो बैंक्स जो बहुत साउंड है, द बैंक्स दैट आर हैविंग अ हायर कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी रेशियो एंड डिफरेंट अदर क्राइटेरियाज, right, they are again paying a good amount of premium. At the same time, the banks that are having low capital adequacy ratio, they are also paying the same amount of premium. So I can say that cross subsidization was happening, right? The safer banks effectively subsidized the weaker banks earlier, but that should not be there. And now you need to bear the insurance coverage based on your risk ability. Right, and it aligns with the global standard as well. In foreign countries already the banks have adopted this approach, and now India will also adopt this particular approach, right? So this is going to be, there is an expectation that this is going to be implemented from the next financial year, right? And definitely it will bring more and more financial stability for our country, right? The next one is market related, derivative related RBI circular. So this is going to be a very complex as well as at the same time this is going to be a very interesting circular. This is a master direction related to the RBI Rupee interest rate derivative directions 2025. Now what is this Rupee interest rate derivative? Do you guys know what a derivative contract is? Now this particular circular is directly related to your syllabus. No doubt it's a detailed one. I'll be telling you the things what you need to remember for the examination, what you need to learn for the examination. At the same time मैं कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें भी बताऊंगा जो irrelevant होने वाली है, जिनको आपको सिर्फ एक लाइटर नोट पे पढ़ना है, राइट? सो इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द RBI सर्कुलर्स, क्या पढ़ना है और क्या छोड़ना है दोनों आपको पता होने चाहिए, राइट? बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे वी आर हैविंग सच अ बिग वॉल्यूम, आई कैन से दैट आपको वहाँ कहीं ना कहीं फिल्टर करने पड़ते हैं. अदरवाइज देर आर सो मेनी सर्कुलर्स, देर आर सो मेनी रिपोर्ट्स, you have to make a call, and that should be exam oriented for you, right? It should be completely exam oriented for you. So let's start with the Rupee interest rate derivative. Okay, let's start with the basics of it. Now this direction is applicable to the Rupee interest rate derivative. If you are using IRD interest rate derivative, that to Rupee interest rate derivative, whether you are doing the transaction OTC, over the counter, or you are doing the transaction at the recognized stock exchange of India, these directions will be applicable. These directions will be applicable. Sir, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा. What do you mean by interest rate derivatives? Sir, what do you even mean by derivatives? Or what do you mean by the term OTC, over the counter? और रिकग्नाइज स्टॉक एक्सचेंज क्या होता है, तो देखो धीरे धीरे करके समझते हैं. नो डाउट आई वॉन्ट बी एबल टू टेक द एंटायर चैप्टर ऑफ डेरिवेटिव इन दिस वीडियो, नहीं तो क्या होगा, ये वीडियो 2 घंटे का बन जाएगा अगर मैं आपको पूरा डेरिवेटिव बनाऊंगा, राइट. बट I will try to understand, I will try to make you guys understand the crux of derivative specifically related to this particular circular. Okay? So आराम से डिटेल में समझना, थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट होने वाला है, इसीलिए इसको मैंने स्टार्टिंग में ले लिया है, पर इंपॉर्टेंट भी है, काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें इसके अंदर से is going to be important for your examination. So try to understand slowly, no hurry at all. Okay? The very first thing is, if you are using interest rate derivatives, rupee interest rate derivatives, you are undertaking the transaction over the counter or the recognized or on the recognized stock exchange, doesn't matter, this particular circular will apply. Acha, this particular master direction will come into force in from 1st of March 2026. So 1st of March 2026 से apply होने वाला है. Okay, let's first talk about what do you mean by over the counter. Over the counter. So in India, we have a very interesting way of, I will say, there are so many types of marriages, like love marriage, like arranged marriage. So let's take that example. वो वाला example लेते हैं, let's try to understand what over the counter and exchange traded contract means, right? First of all, over the counter contract. So it's more related to a love marriage in India. Okay. Say for example, Mr. Rahul and Miss Anjali, maybe they are meeting at a college or कहीं tuitions पे साथ में आते हैं, या फिर they met anywhere and now they are getting married. Now they are getting married. This is a classic case of over the counter. Both the parties are directly making contract with each other. Both the parties are directly making contract with each other. Sir, कहाँ पे डेरिवेटिव्स की बात हो रही थी, आप शादी पे आ गए. देखो थोड़ा सा टाइम देना, सब कुछ समझ में आ जाएगा. ठीक है, नो डाउट दिस इज गोइंग टू बी एन इनफॉर्मल एग्जाम्पल, बट आप थोड़ा सा टाइम देना, आपको बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आ जाएगा. ओवर द काउंटर, बोथ द पार्टीज, the party 1 and party 2, they are entering into a direct contract without any intermediary. तो ये love marriage हो गया, over the counter. Similarly, if I talk about exchange traded contract, let's suppose Mr. Rahul has registered on shadi.com, Miss Anjali has also registered on shadi.com, और वहाँ से उनकी marriage fix हो गई. So can I say that an intermediary is facilitating the transaction? Both the parties are not directly in contact with each other, but they are making transaction using this intermediary. That's a case of arranged marriage, which can be called as exchange traded contract. अच्छा, love marriage का example over the counter हो गया. हमारे exchange traded का example क्या हो गया, arranged marriage हो गया, जहाँ पे एक intermediary is there, right? So similarly, let's take the example of shares. Okay, Mr. Rahul has some shares of HDFC Bank. So Mr. Rahul wants to sell some shares of HDFC Bank. Miss Anjali wants also to buy some shares of HDFC Bank. So Miss Anjali को buy करना है HDFC Bank, Mr. Rahul को sell करना है. So they both have placed their orders on Zerodha or Angel Broking or any other broker, right? That is a classic case of exchange traded contracts, ETC. Why? Because an exchange is there to facilitate the transaction. An exchange is there to facilitate the transaction. Whereas, let's suppose Mr. Rahul and Miss Anjali, they are directly getting into a contract. They are directly getting into a contract and no exchange is there. No exchange is there. So this will be an example of over the counter contract. Counter पे बैठ के contract हो रहा है. There is no exchange in between. Whereas in exchange traded contract, कोई भी काउंटर पे बैठ के बात नहीं कर रहा, नेगोशिएट नहीं कर रहा. The contracts are highly standardized and बीच में exchange है, right? So arranged marriage is like exchange traded contract, love marriage is like over the counter contract. यहाँ आप खुद सामने वाली पार्टी से इंटरेक्ट करते हो इन ओवर द काउंटर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, और एक दूसरे की कंपैटिबिलिटी जानते हो कि भाई तुमको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से क्या चाहिए, मुझे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से क्या चाहिए, एंड सिमिलरली यू अराइव एट अ कंक्लूजन. Whereas in exchange traded contract, everything is standardized, right? Everything is standardized. An exchange is there to facilitate the transaction. So the crux here is, if you are entering into a rupee interest rate derivative transaction, it can be arranged marriage or it can be a love marriage, doesn't matter. What I wanted to convey is it can be a OTC or it can be a exchange traded contract via recognized stock exchange. राइट. सो ये रिकॉग्नाइज स्टॉक एक्सचेंज आ गया, तो ये वाला ट्रांजैक्शन क्या हो गया, एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो गया. आई होप इतना सबको क्लियर हो गया होगा, राइट? इतना सबको यहाँ पे क्लियर हो गया होगा that what an exchange traded contract is and what the over the counter contract is. सही है? अच्छा, किस पे लगेगा? So it will be applicable on both OTC and exchange traded contract, right? Sir, but what is interest rate derivative contract? For the understanding of interest rate derivative, first you need to understand the concept of derivative market, right? So let's talk about some derivative related things. So whenever we talk about derivative, we say that it is a financial instrument or a financial contract. It is a financial contract whose value depends on, now the value of this contract depends on some asset, and we call it as an underlying asset. We call it as an underlying asset. Now this underlying asset can be anything, So the value of this contract depends on the underlying asset. The value of this contract depends on the underlying asset. So this asset we call as underlying asset, and this contract we call it as derivative contract. Acha, why we are calling it as a derivative? Because this contract is deriving its value from an underlying asset, right? This contract is deriving value from an underlying asset. Let me just give you an example quickly to understand it in a better manner, right? So let's suppose Mr. Rahul is having marriage after 1 year. After 1 year, Mr. Rahul is having a marriage. तो मैरिज फिक्स हो गई. अब राहुल सर की शादी है, 1 साल बाद है. कब है? 1 साल बाद है. After 1 year. So everybody is so happy, but Mr. Rahul is quite concerned. Why he is concerned? Because of the increase in the prices of gold. He know that he has to buy a lot of gold in India to get married. So that's why he is quite concerned. And let's suppose when I am making the video, the price of the gold is around 1,38,000. So let's, for the sake of simplicity, let's say that now the prices of gold is 1,40,000. The price of gold is 1,40,000, right? After a year, Mr. Rahul thinks that the price of the gold may be 2 lakh rupees, right? Per tola. I'm talking about per tola. So this is the expectation. This is the expectation of Mr. Rahul, right? That the prices might shoot to 2 lakh rupees. As of now, it is only 1,40,000. What if the prices are 2 lakh rupees per tola? So definitely Mr. Rahul has to pour in more and more money to buy the same quantity of gold. Now everybody is so happy because of the marriage of Mr. Rahul, but Mr. Rahul is quite concerned about the increase in the prices of gold. What Mr. Rahul can do is, he don't want to buy the gold right now. अब एक opinion ये हो सकता है कि सर Mr. Rahul को बोलो let's buy today gold at 1,40,000. But Mr. Rahul is not having adequate amount of money as of now, right? He'll be having adequate amount of money, maybe 1,50,000 after 1 year. But as of now, he don't have the money. He don't have the money, but he wants to buy the gold anywhere around 1,40,000 only. So what Mr. Rahul can do is, Mr. Rahul can enter into a financial contract. Mr. Rahul can enter into a financial contract. Let's say for Mr. B, with Mr. B. Okay, so Mr. Rahul has entered into a financial contract with Mr. B. Now Mr. B has given a contract to Rahul that after 1 year, 1 साल बाद, you can buy gold from Mr. B at 1,45,000. Or let's take it 1,50,000. Let's play in rounded numbers. After 1 year, you can buy gold for 1,50,000 from Mr. B, 1 tola. Quantity is specified, amount is specified, term is also specified. Mr. Rahul will take this contract right now. So Mr. Rahul has entered into this financial contract, which is nothing but a financial instrument. It is nothing but a derivative. It is nothing but a derivative contract only, right? So the value of this depends on the underlying asset, which is gold as of now. Right? Which is gold as of now. This is nothing but a derivative contract. So Rahul ने यही contract कर लिया to buy gold at 1,50,000 after 1 year, 1 tola. So even if the prices are 2 lakh rupees after 1 year, Mr. Rahul will buy from Mr. B at 1,50,000. Now this is a contract. It is a derivative contract. सर अभी 1,40,000 पे क्यों नहीं खरीद लेता, 1.5 लाख पे क्यों खरीद रहा है? भाई उसके पास पैसे नहीं है, वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर लेगा, 1 साल बाद आ जाएंगे 1.5 लाख रुपए, तब 1.5 लाख में खरीदेगा, 10,000 रुपये ज़्यादा लग गए, कोई बात नहीं, 2 लाख तो नहीं देने पड़े, राइट? 2 लाख तो नहीं देने पड़े. So I hope you guys are able to understand the stuff, and the same example I have taken in the paid class as well for making you understand the concept of derivative, right? So that's what derivative is. It is a financial contract. The value of the contract depends on the prices of the underlying asset, right? So what do you mean by interest rate derivative? It is also a derivative contract. It is also a derivative contract, but the value will depend on the underlying asset, and here the underlying asset will be interest rate. Here the underlying asset will be interest rate. अब यहाँ पे हम interest rates में बात कर रहे हैं, हम gold silver की बात नहीं कर रहे, stock market की बात नहीं कर रहे. We are talking about interest rates here, right? So we can make so many derivative contracts out of interest rates also. So interest rate derivative is nothing but a financial contract whose value depends on interest rate. It can be repo rate, it can be MIBOR, it can be government security yield. कोई भी ले लो जो आपको पसंद हो, आपका अंडरलाइंग एसेट कुछ भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि दिस इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन यू एंड मी, राइट? दिस इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. So in interest rate derivatives, we have so many different contracts like forward rate agreement. We do have interest rate swap. Slowly we will try to understand each and everything. Okay. Now they have given us certain definitions. The very first one is financial benchmark administrator. Now this is a person who controls the creation, operation, administration of financial benchmarks, right? So it is authorized by Reserve Bank of India, and all the financial benchmarks are created and they are operational and they are administered by taking into account the suggestions and the guidance of financial benchmark regulator only. Then let's understand forward rate agreement. Now it is a type of interest rate derivative only. It is one of the interest rate derivative. We have so many interest rate derivative. Just like that we have forward rate agreement. Now just like Mr. Rahul did a forward contract. अच्छा, I forgot to tell you. मैं बोलिए आपको बताना. This was a forward agreement. This was a forward contract. This was a forward contract. Why? Because let's say Rahul is looking forward to buy gold at 1,50,000 rupees. So this is a kind of forward contract. Similarly, when you make the forward contract in terms of interest rate, it will be forward rate agreement. अरे कुछ नहीं है, forward contract ही है. Say for example, you are doing a contract to lock the interest rate today for the future period. This will be called as forward rate agreement. Similarly, Mr. Rahul made a forward contract to lock in the price of the gold, right? So that's a forward rate agreement. Now let's suppose the company expects to borrow after 6 months. I have a company ABC Limited. I want to borrow money, but after 6 months. Now I fear that right now the interest rate is 7%, but maybe after 1 year, my expectation is it will go up to 8% or 9%. Let's lock in 7% right now by entering into a forward rate agreement. तो मैं किसी बैंक के पास जाऊंगा, किसी भी पार्टिसिपेंट के पास जाऊंगा डेरिवेटिव मार्केट में, I'll ask for a forward rate agreement कि भाई मुझे लॉक कर दो 7% पे, मुझे 6 महीने के बाद 7% पे लोन दे देना आप, ठीक है? Give me loan after 6 months, but at 7% right now. I don't care whether in the near future the interest rate shoots up to 15%, but I'll be taking the loan from you at 7% right now, right? That's a forward rate agreement. Same contract है जैसा मिस्टर राहुल ने गोल्ड के लिए किया था. We are doing it for the rate purpose, for the interest rate, for locking the interest rate, right? Then we have so many products. Now you need to have a very basic understanding as of now for the circular. नहीं तो क्या होगा, मैं एक एक को डिटेल में समझाऊंगा तो what will happen कि 2 घंटे का एक सर्कुलर का वीडियो बन जाएगा और जिसमें मैंने आपको कोई सर्कुलर अभी तक पढ़ाया नहीं है, राइट। सो मज़े की बात यह है कि देर आर सो मेनी प्रोडक्ट्स और सब कुछ आपके डेरिवेटिव मार्केट के अंदर आपको समझाया जाएगा, राइट। बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं, बट एज ऑफ नाउ जस्ट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द क्रक्स ऑफ द स्टोरी so that we can start the circular. The very first thing is interest rate options. Now options, they are the right but not the obligation, right? In derivative market we study call option, we study put option. So definitely you do have interest rate options as well. Just like you have F&O futures and options in the stock market, you have interest rate options in the interest rate derivative market. Now there are certain terminologies like interest rate cap, interest rate floor, interest rate collar. Let's try to understand interest rate cap. This is the upper limit protection. I have taken a floating rate loan. I have taken a floating rate loan. I have a fear that the interest rate will aggressively go up. So what I can do is I can cap this. I can cap this. As of now, my rate of interest is 6%. Let's say I have taken a cap at 8%. So this will be my capping. This will be my capping. This is a derivative contract. If the interest rate goes above 8%, I don't care about that because I have taken a cap at 8%. तो मेरा price one lock in हो जाएगा. I won't be paying more than 8%, right? I won't be paying more than 8%. So I am a borrower. Who will use this kind of contract? I am a borrower with floating interest rate loan. So I'm quite concerned कि what will happen if the interest rate increases. So I locked in the price at 8%, right? Here is an example as well. Later on, you can use this example for reference purpose. Similarly, there's a interest rate floor also. Now, what do you mean by a floor? Let's suppose HDFC Bank is quite concerned that the interest rates will go down. The interest rates will go down. Now, HDFC Bank is a lender, right? वो तो loans दे रहे हैं. HDFC Bank is offering loans and advances. So, lenders or investors who are actually earning floating interest. Now, if the current rate is 6%, if the interest rate goes down to 4%, HDFC Bank will be earning 4% instead of 5%. So that's why HDFC Bank is concerned about the falling interest rates. So what HDFC Bank can do is they can take a floor, interest rate floor. That means a lower limit protection. Even if the interest rate falls below 5%, still you will be getting 5%. Still you will be getting 5%. So can I say you have locked in your income at 5% per annum? That's what interest rate floor is. And interest rate collar is a mix of cap and floor. Okay, it's a mix of cap and floor. अब देखो ये एक एक टर्मिनोलॉजी हम किसी और वीडियो में डेफिनेटली डिस्कस कर लेंगे. Why? Because if I start discussing each and every terminology of the derivative market, it will be a very long video और आपको मैं सर्कुलर नहीं करवा पाऊंगा. So यहाँ हम सिर्फ एक बार सर्कुलर का अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेने वाले कि आपके एग्जाम के लिए क्या इंपॉर्टेंट होने वाला है. बाकी सारा जो कंटेंट है हम वो किसी डेरिवेटिव के वीडियो में अलग से आपके लिए कवर कर लेंगे, राइट. ओके गाइस, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द सर्कुलर. अभी तक सर्कुलर चालू ही नहीं हुआ है, ऑलमोस्ट आधा घंटा हो गया और अब हम सर्कुलर चालू करने वाले हैं. व्हाई? क्योंकि मैंने अभी तक आपका सिर्फ बेस बनाया है, राइट. अभी तक आपका सिर्फ बेस बना हुआ है. सो अब आपको सर्कुलर समझ में आएगा. एंड लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द सर्कुलर. सो द फर्स्ट पार्ट इज इंटरेस्ट रेट डेरिवेटिव ऑन द रिकॉग्नाइज्ड स्टॉक एक्सचेंज. If you are on a recognized stock exchange like NSE, National Stock Exchange, like BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, and you are offering interest rate derivatives, आप क्या ऑफर कर रहे हो? इंटरेस्ट रेट डेरिवेटिव कर रहे हो. आओ रिस्क प्रोटेक्शन ले लो रिलेटेड टू इंटरेस्ट रेट्स, राइट. सो द रिकॉग्नाइज्ड स्टॉक एक्सचेंज इज परमिटेड टू ऑफर एनी स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड IRD प्रोडक्ट. व्हाट इज IRD? इंटरेस्ट रेट डेरिवेटिव. ऑब्वियसली द प्रोडक्ट्स विल बी स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड. अब आप शादी.com पे जा रहे हो तो आपको शादी.com के रूल्स फॉलो करने पड़ेंगे ना, राइट. सिमिलरली इफ यू आर गोइंग टू अ रिकॉग्नाइज्ड स्टॉक एक्सचेंज लाइक NSE, BSE, you have to follow the rules and regulation, and we say that the contract value is standardized, right. The product design, eligible participants, other details of the IRD may be finalized by the exchange. So exchange will be finalizing each and everything, but exchange has to obtain final, right, approval from the Reserve Bank of India before introducing any new product. So can I say that if NSE, National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, if you are releasing any new product, what kind of product? Interest rate derivative product, then you need to take prior approval of the Reserve Bank of India, of the RBI. अरे भाई इंटरेस्ट रेट से रिलेटेड है, हम मनी मार्केट रेगुलेटर हैं, राइट? आरबीआई वाले मनी मार्केट रेगुलेटर हैं, तो इंटरेस्ट रेट को कुछ भी करोगे तो इकोनॉमी के अंदर मनी सप्लाई बढ़ेगा गिरेगा, तो उसके रिलेटेड डेरिवेटिव्स को भी कुछ भी करोगे तो दैट विल इम्पैक्ट द मनी सप्लाई. सो आरबीआई विल be the final authority to give you the prior approval, right? If you are launching any new product related to the interest rate derivatives, right? Non-resident may transact in the exchange traded IRD for the purpose of hedging. If you are a non-resident, if you are living in US, UK, you are a non-resident, you may also transact on the exchange traded IRD, but only for hedging purpose. Sir, what do you mean by hedging? We don't know anything about hedging. No worries at all. No worries at all. Let's suppose in this particular transaction, do you think that Mr. Rahul wants to earn anything, wants to make money? Can you tell me in the comment section whether Mr. Rahul wants to make money or Mr. Rahul seeks a risk protection? What do you think? The purpose of Mr. Rahul was just risk protection. Mr. Rahul don't want to earn some money, but to undertake a contract for the purpose of risk management. So can I say that this is a hedging contract? Mr. Rahul wants to hedge the risk. Mr. Rahul wants a risk protection. Similarly, Rahul मान लो मेरे friend है. So I heard about the expectation कि gold 2 लाख रुपए जाने वाला है, right? I had a quick chat with Rahul and I came to know that Mr. Rahul is taking a contract from Mr. B, a derivative contract. Now I have also taken a contract from Mr. B, but my goal is to make some quick money. I want to buy the gold at 1,50,000 in the after 1 year, and I want to sell it at 2 lakh rupees. So I want to make 50,000. But the purpose of Mr. Rahul is to hedge, risk protection. So that's called as hedging. But my purpose here is speculation. I just wanted to make some quick money, right? So that is the difference between hedging and speculation. That is the difference between the hedging and the speculation, right? So the non-resident may transact in exchange traded IRD for the purpose of hedging. They can also transact for the purpose of hedging. If you are a foreign portfolio investor, FPI, if you are an FPI, foreign portfolio investor, they are also permitted to purchase and sell the interest rate futures subject to the following conditions. The aggregate long position. What do you mean by long position? Long means buy. Long means buy. Short means sell. Long means buy, short means sell. So you need to have, if you are having an aggregate long-term position, then it should not exceed 5,000 crore. You are an FPI, you can have an aggregate long position but only up to 5,000 crore in aggregate. Only up to 5,000 crore in aggregate. And your total gross short position, your total gross short position shall not exceed the consolidated long position in government securities and interest rate futures. Now this is complex. Let's try to understand this in a very simple manner. Okay. Let's say for example, I have a long position of 1000 crore and I have a short position of 600 crore. So can I say that on a net basis, I have a long position of 400 crore. I have a long position of 400 crore, right? So aggregate long positions, each of whom has a not net long position. So आपकी जो net long position हो गई वो 400 करोड़ की हो गई, right? So ऐसे ही आपकी सारी net long position जोड़ दो, aggregate all your net long position and that should not exceed 5,000 crore, right? So आपकी net long position जो है that should not exceed your 5,000 crore का limit. That is the limit number 1 that you have to remember for the examination. Next one, the total gross short position. Now here they have mentioned the word gross. That means you don't have to do netting. Let's suppose your short position means your selling position is, for example, 2,000 crore. And let's suppose your long positions in the government securities, and interest rate futures on a combined basis is, let's suppose 1,800 crore. 1,800 crore. Now this will not be a possibility here. Why? Because your short positions are exceeding your short gross positions are exceeding your long positions in the government securities and the interest rate future. Government ऐसा नहीं चाहती भाई, आपकी जो total gross sold positions हैं, short position, that shall not exceed in any case as compared to the long positions in the government securities and the interest rate futures. The meaning is आपको खरीदना है गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज इंटरेस्ट रेट फ्यूचर्स दबा के खरीदो, बट उससे ज्यादा शॉर्ट मत कर देना, उससे ज्यादा आप शॉर्ट मत कर देना, राइट? उससे ज्यादा आप इंटरेस्ट रेट फ्यूचर्स को शॉर्ट मत कर देना. दैट इज द क्लियर अंडरस्टैंडिंग हियर विच गवर्नमेंट विच आरबीआई हैज शेयर्ड, राइट? अच्छा, नेक्स्ट वन इज द मार्केट मेकर. नाउ व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय मार्केट मेकर्स? These are the entities that are actually buying and selling aggressively the IRDs, right? So they are the market maker. That means scheduled banks, standalone primary dealer, NBFC may be upper layer NBFC. We do have different classifications of NBFC, right? So these are actually market makers who are dealing with the market. यहाँ से आप easily positions ले सकते हो और इनके बहुत बड़े बड़े trades होंगे market के अंदर. We have AIFIs as well. What is the meaning of AIFI? All India Financial Institutions. So we do have Exim Bank here. We do have NABARD, NHB, SEDBI, right? NAPFID. So AIFI भी यहाँ पे market makers की category के अंदर आते हैं. And RBI has made a compulsion here that at least one of the party to an interest rate derivative transaction shall be a market maker or a central counterparty authorized by Reserve Bank of India. So अगर आपको ये वाले कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स लेने हैं तो आपको इन लोगों के पास जाना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज एटलीस्ट वन पार्टी शुड बी द मार्केट मेकर, राइट? एटलीस्ट वन पार्टी शुड बी द मार्केट मेकर, राइट? दिस इज फॉर द इंटरेस्ट रेट डेरिवेटिव्स इन द ओटीसी मार्केट. अगर इफ यू आर डीलिंग इन एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड मार्केट, नो प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल, नो प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल. वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड अबाउट द इंटरेस्ट रेट डेरिवेटिव्स ऑन द रिकॉग्नाइज्ड स्टॉक एक्सचेंज. दीज आर द रिस्ट्रिक्शंस. बट इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द एक्सचेंज रेट डेरिवेटिव्स इन द ओटीसी मार्केट, देन वन पार्टी शुड बी अ मार्केट मेकर. ठीक है, तो एक बड़ी पार्टी होनी चाहिए जिसके साथ आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करोगे. ऐसे हर किसी के साथ आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट यहां पे नहीं कर सकते. द नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज द यूजर क्लासिफिकेशन फ्रेमवर्क, राइट? सो द यूजर्स शैल बी क्लासिफाइड बाय द मार्केट मेकर्स. सो दीज मार्केट मेकर्स आर गोइंग टू मेक द क्लासिफिकेशन बेस्ड ऑन द यूजर, whether you are a retail user or a non-retail user. Now, why the market makers are actually making the classification related to retail and non-retail? क्योंकि आगे कुछ restrictions आने वाले हैं that the circular is going to make on the retail users and for the non-retail users, right? There are some restrictions in the circular that are applicable for retail and some for non-retail. The following shall be eligible to be classified as a non-retail user. So these will be the non-retail users here. Entity who is otherwise eligible to be a market maker. If you are eligible to be a market maker, then how can you be called as a retailer, right? You are an NBFCs, you are an insurance company, or you are a pension fund, you are a mutual fund company, or I can say that you are a big company, right? If you are in the list of these items, then I can say in this category, if you are falling, then you are a non-retailer user, right? Maybe you are a resident with a minimum net worth of 500 crore, or you are having a turnover of 1000 crore, or you are a non-resident other than an individual, then also you will be not classified as a retailer. You are a non-retailer user, right? So a non-resident who is not an individual will be a non-retail user. Similarly, if you are an alternate investment fund, or if you are even a retailer user but you have made an application, you have made a request to the market maker and the market maker is satisfied with your risk management practices, then they may allow you to be called as a non-retail user, right? So all the users except the non-retail users will be the retail users, the balancing category like you and me. So we all are retail users, right? We all are retail users. Now there are so many products that only retail users can avail. So the market makers may offer the following products to retail users. So if we are a retail user, then the market maker can only give us these kind of products. It can be forward rate agreement, it can be interest rate swap, it can be interest rate call options and put options. Now call options and put options are also part of your derivative market syllabus, right? Then interest rate cap, interest rate floor, subject to some conditions, right? That the retailer's user can only buy these products. That means meaning is retail users cannot sell a call or put related to the interest rate, right? Related to the interest rate, a retail user cannot sell the call option or to sell the put option. You can only be a buyer of the put option and call option. You can't sell it. Right? In the call and put option also, we do have a bifurcation. You can be a buyer of the call option and put option. You can even become a seller of the call option and put option. But if you are a retailer, then you can't sell the interest rate related call options and put options. You can only buy it. Right? That's a restriction here. Then the interest rate collar also you can avail if you are a retail user, but only if you are a net premium receiver. Again, that means you are a net buyer. On a net basis, you are a buyer, you are not a seller, right? Now, if you are a non-retail user, then you may also get these kind of products from the market maker. So all the products are permitted that are offered to the retail users. These products are there only, but at the same time, you are eligible for interest rate swaptions also, right? What is interest rate swaption? It is a mix of swap. It's a mix of swap plus the option. Now you can understand each and every terminology once you are done with the chapter derivatives. Okay. Once you are done with the chapter derivatives, then only you can understand these kind of terminologies. What is swap, what is option, and so on. Any other interest rate derivative product, including derivatives, right, is allowed here, but it should not include the leverage derivative products, right? It should not include the leverage derivative product. Leverage वाले छोड़ के आप बाकी सारे ले सकते हो अगर आप नॉन रिटेलर हो तो. अच्छा, ये जो इंटरेस्ट रेट डेरिवेटिव्स होते हैं, राइट, द scheduled commercial banks and the standalone primary dealers may offer the transaction in the interest rate derivative market on the modified Mumbai interbank forward outright rate also, right? इस रेट के ऊपर भी आपको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स यहाँ पे मिल सकते हैं. ओके, इस रेट के ऊपर भी आपको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स मिल सकते हैं. अच्छा, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय हेयर कॉल ऑप्शन एंड पुट ऑप्शन स्पेसिफिकली रिलेटेड टू द इंटरेस्ट रेट? तो यहाँ पे वर्ड यूज हुआ था यूरोपियन इंटरेस्ट रेट कॉल एंड पुट ऑप्शन. सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट कॉल एंड पुट ऑप्शंस, राइट? European interest rate call option. So first let's understand the interest rate call option. So let's suppose I have bought a call option at 7%. So even if the interest rate is now 10% in the future, I have a right to buy at 7%. I have to right to buy this at 7%. Now I will be paying only 7%, even if in the market the interest rates are 10%. If the interest rates are 10%, right? Okay, this is the option. Now in option, you may buy it, you may not buy it. The forward rate agreements are compulsory in nature. वो तो आपको लेने ही पड़ेंगे. Let's suppose if I have entered into an FRA, I have bought the contract at 7%, the market rate is now 10%. Now this is my benefit, right? 3% मैंने बचा लिया. But let's suppose expectation से उल्टा हो गया, 7% से 5% रेट हो गया. सो -2% हो गया. मार्केट में 5% का रेट है, पर आपने FRA ले रखा है 7% का. नाउ यू हैव टू पे 7%. दैट्स अ प्रॉब्लम इन FRA. बट इन द ऑप्शन, एज द नेम सेज इट ऑल, दिस इज एन ऑप्शन. सो इट इज ऑप्शनल. इफ द मार्केट रेट इज 7%, इफ इट गोज अप टू 10%, you can buy the call option. But if it goes down to 5%, you will not buy the option at 7%. You will leave it. You will not exercise it, right? So FRA के अंदर ऐसा ऑप्शन नहीं था, इधर ऑप्शंस हैं, इसीलिए इसको we call it as interest rate options, and this is a kind of call option. अच्छा, है और ज्यादा समझ में कब आएगा? जब आपका डेरिवेटिव चैप्टर पूरा हो जाएगा, स्पेशली दी ऑप्शंस वाला पार्ट, राइट? सो अगर किसी ने डेरिवेटिव वाला पार्ट कंप्लीट नहीं किया है तो डेफिनेटली उसको पहले डेरिवेटिव वाला पार्ट कंप्लीट करना है और उसके बाद ये वाला टर्म समझ में आ जाएगा. बाकी सर्कुलर तो आपको अभी भी समझ में आ रहा होगा. टर्मिनोलॉजीज की डीप अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए यू हैव टू वॉच द डेरिवेटिव वीडियो, राइट? सो डेरिवेटिव्स का ऑलरेडी 1 से 2 घंटे का पेड कोर्स के अंदर डला हुआ होता है, वो आपको पहले अच्छे से पढ़ना है. देन ओनली यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दी टर्मिनोलॉजीज हियर. सर, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय यूरोपियन? नाउ द ऑप्शंस आर of two types. It can be American, it can be European. American options can be exercised anytime, but the European options are only exercised at the time of expiry date, right? Not before that. Not before that. That's the difference. That is the difference, right? Similarly, आप put options के बारे में पढ़ सकते हो. Now the purpose, the crux of the circular, and I have summarized each and everything for you in a tabular manner, right? So purpose, if you are a market maker, you can offer the interest rate derivative products to the retail users, right? To the retail users, but only for the purpose of hedging. That means if you are a retail user, go out of speculation practices, right? Go out of the interest rate derivative products if you want to speculate. You can't even enter the room. It is only open for retailers just for the purpose of hedging, right? Just for the purpose of hedging. So यहाँ पे अलग अलग लोगों के लिए अलग अलग क्लासिफिकेशन दे रखे हैं. A market mover may offer the IRD products to the retail to the resident non-retail user. If you are a resident, you are a non-retail user, then आपके ऊपर without any restriction काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें यहाँ पे allow हो जाएगी, right? Without any restriction काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें यहाँ पे allow हो जाएगी. तो for the purpose of this only I have summarized this in a tabular manner for you. If you are a resident retail user, then you can only hedge using the interest rate derivatives. If you are a resident non-retail user, in the para 5.2 clause 2 subclause 1, let me tell you 5.2 का clause 2 सब क्लॉज आई वाला प्रोडक्ट, इसके अंदर क्या था? यूजर हु अदरवाइज इज एलिजिबल टू बी क्लासिफाइड एज रिटेल यूजर. एक यूजर है तो रिटेल, बट उसको स्पेसिफिकली मार्केट मेकर्स ने परमिशन दे दी है. द मार्केट मेकर्स आर सेटिस्फाइड एंड दे हैव परमिटेड द यूजर बेस्ड ऑन द रिस्क मैनेजमेंट पर्पस. क्या वो भी अदर देन हेजिंग कर सकता है? नहीं कर सकता है. वो भी, अरे तुमको स्पेशल परमिशन मिली हुई है, राइट, बट फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ हेजिंग, राइट. आप दूसरे प्रोडक्ट्स में कर सकते हो, रिटेलर से ज्यादा प्रोडक्ट्स में कर सकते हो, पर क्या आप स्पेकुलेशन कर सकते हो? नो. अदर नॉन रेजिडेंट नॉन रिटेल यूजर्स, यू कैन डू इट फॉर एनी पर्पस. इट कैन बी स्पेकुलेशन, इट कैन बी हेजिंग ऑल्सो. नॉन रेजिडेंट इंडिविजुअल सिर्फ हेजिंग, राइट. भाई तुम इंडिविजुअल्स हो. नॉन रेजिडेंट एंटिटीज अदर देन इंडिविजुअल्स, एनी पर्पस. भाई तुम्हारे पास रिस्क टेकिंग कैपेसिटी है, यू कैन गो फॉर इट, राइट. सो आपको इस सर्कुलर को कैसे पढ़ना है? मेरे हिसाब से टैबुलर फॉर्मेट से पढ़ना है. फटाफट से हो जाएगा. अलग से पढ़ोगे बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा, कॉम्प्लेक्स लैंग्वेज है. दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव सिंप्लीफाइड ईच एंड एवरीथिंग फॉर यू इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो. सो डू रेफर टू दिस पर्टिकुलर टेबल फॉर दैट. अच्छा, लेट सपोज यू आर मेकिंग अ IRD ट्रांजैक्शन. इफ द मार्केट मेकर इज मेकिंग एन IRD ट्रांजैक्शन, इंटरेस्ट रेट डेरिवेटिव ट्रांजैक्शन, बाय नॉन रेजिडेंट विथ मार्केट मेकर अंडरटेकन फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ अदर हेजिंग. नॉन रेजिडेंट के साथ ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ, NR के साथ, और मार्केट मेकर भी इन्वॉल्व है, ऑब्वियसली इन्वॉल्व होगा, एक पार्टी मार्केट मेकर होती है. अंडरटेकन फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ अदर देन हेजिंग, यू आर डूइंग इट फॉर स्पेकुलेशन मे बी, राइट. सो देयर इज अ कैप, देयर इज अ प्राइस वैल्यू ऑफ अ बेसिस पॉइंट कैप, PVBP कैप लगा दिया जाएगा आपके ऊपर ऑफ ऑल योर आउटस्टैंडिंग IRD पोजीशन. वॉट एवर योर आउटस्टैंडिंग IRD पोजीशन इज should not exceed 1000 crore. That is the price value of basis point का cap, right. आपकी जो पोजीशन है वो 1000 करोड़ से ऊपर यहाँ पे नहीं जानी चाहिए. And this will be calculated on the gross addition basis, right. This will be calculated on the gross addition basis. So now what is this meaning of PVBP? You don't have to go into too much detail. First thing you need to understand this cap. Okay, this can come in your examination. अगर आपका नॉन रेजिडेंट से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ है, other than hedging purpose हुआ है, so there will be a cap. There will be a cap of 1000 crore. What is PVBP? Price value of a basis point. Price value of a basis point. The meaning is quite clear. It tells you how much the value of a bond or interest rate derivative will change if interest rate changes by 1 basis point. What do you mean by 1 basis point? That means 0.01%, right? 100 basis points का मतलब होता है 1%. 100 basis points का मतलब होता है 1%, right? That we all know. So if say for example, if the notional amount is 1000 crore and even if the interest rate changes by 1 basis point, that means 0.01%, right? 0.01%. Acha, it should be 10 lakhs rupees here, right? It should be 10 lakh rupees. Now in the exam you don't have to calculate the PVBP, right? So ये calculation गलती मैंने यहाँ पे सही कर दी है, but in the exam you don't have to calculate the PVBP. It's just for the explanation purpose that I have mentioned what is the PVBP meaning. But for the examination, you need to remember this limit of 1000 crore. You need to remember this table, right? That can be important. Then for the retail users, for the non-retail users who are the market makers, right? That is also essential, and these limits are also important. These limits are also important, right? Now let's discuss about the next circular, which is related to the import and export of Indian currency to and from Nepal and Bhutan. Here we are talking about the importing and exporting of Indian currency to and from Nepal and Bhutan, right? So the currency is of India. This is the Indian currency, and और जहाँ कहाँ से रही है, नेपाल और भूटान से जा रही है और आ रही है, right? So it can be an outflow or it can be an inflow as well. It can be an inflow as well related to the Indian currency. So recently it has been reviewed and it has been decided to allow a person not being a citizen of Pakistan or Bangladesh. So the person should not be a citizen of Pakistan or Bangladesh. He or she can take or send out of India to Nepal और भूटान. So India से नेपाल और भूटान जा सकता है, और he may or she may also bring into India from नेपाल और भूटान. तो पैसा जा भी सकता है, आ भी सकता है, in the form of currency notes of Government of India and Reserve Bank of India notes for any amount in the denomination up to 100 rupees. So up to 100 rupees denomination की बात हो रही है. Here we are talking about the denomination, right? We are talking about the denomination here. So notes का denomination can be up to 100 rupees, right? So take out of India to Nepal और Bhutan. India से आप नेपाल और भूटान में ले जा सकते हो. Denomination can be up to 100 rupees का नोट, 100 रुपए का नोट तक का डिनोमिनेशन हो सकता है, बट द टोटल लिमिट इज 25,000. अच्छा, आप ला भी सकते हो नेपाल और भूटान से वापस 100 रुपीज तक का डिनोमिनेशन, बट द टोटल लिमिट अगेन विल बी 25,000, राइट? इट विल अगेन बी 25,000. सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग. सो ये अलाउड है. अच्छा, सिमिलरली दो सेम चेंजेस यहाँ पे किए गए, वो फॉरेन एक्सचेंज मैनेजमेंट एक्ट के अंदर भी किए गए. सो दे आर ऑल्सो इधर अपडेटेड, right? Same provision. Acha, then we are having on the 4th of December, we are having some circulars related to amendment direction related to the responsible business conduct direction 2025, right? So there are almost 7 circulars related to the responsible business conduct. Okay. They all are related to the BSDA account. They all are related to the BSDA account. Now, what is the meaning of BSDA account? It is none other than your basic service bank deposit account. Basic service bank deposit account, right? Basic service bank deposit account. So it is related to commercial bank, small finance bank, payment bank, local area, RRB, UCBs and rural cooperative banks as well. So ये अलग अलग directions है. Crux एक ही है सबका. What is the crux of it? The very first thing is this will come into effect from 1st April 2026, or if the bank is doing the early adoption, the bank may do so. So whichever is earlier, right? So whichever is earlier. Now, the basic service bank deposit account, the basic service bank deposit account, which is the BSDA account, is designed as a saving account. So it's nothing but a saving account. It's a very simple account, right? For providing the basic banking facilities to the general public at large, that too at the affordable cost. That too at the affordable cost. So यहाँ पे every bank shall offer a BSDA account. सारे banks को BSDA account देना है. Doesn't matter आप commercial हो, doesn't matter आप small finance हो, payment bank भी हो तो भी देना है. सब banks को देना है, right? A bank shall offer the following basic services as BSDA account free of charge without any requirement of minimum balance to be maintained. So this will be free of charge, plus there won't be any kind of minimum balance requirement as well. So deposits of cash, आप पैसा डाल सकते हो उसमें, निकाल सकते हो, right? Receipt of money through electronic channel or deposit. No limit on the number or value of deposits that can be made in the month, right? तो आप पैसा कितना भी डाल सकते हो. Deposit of cash पे कोई restriction नहीं है. पैसा निकालना हो, पैसा आपको और डालना हो, मान लो multiple times you are depositing the money, there is no restriction. ATM card or ATM cum debit card, no charges will be there towards the annual fees, right? checkbook with minimum 25 checks leaves per year, internet and mobile banking facility will also be there, passbook will also be there. So ये सारी चीज़ें, बट ATM विड्रॉल्स पे कुछ रिस्ट्रिक्शन है, मिनिमम 4 विड्रॉल्स ही यहाँ पे अलाउड है, राइट, मिनिमम 4 विड्रॉल्स ही यहाँ पे अलाउड है। तो ये सारी सर्विसेज फ्री रहेंगी, इसके अलावा चार्जेबल रह सकती है, इसके अलावा चार्जेबल रह सकती है। अच्छा, इसके अलावा भी इफ द बैंक वांट्स टू ऑफर सम एडिशनल सर्विसेज द बैंक मे डू सो विथ और विदाउट चार्जेस, नाउ दैट विल बी एट द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द बैंक। पर ये सर्विसेज तो आपको विदाउट चार्जेस देनी है, इसके अलावा इफ यू आर गिविंग सम एडिशनल चार्जेस सर्विसेज then you can take some additional charge as well, or you may not prefer to take that, right? That is on the discretion of the bank. अच्छा, इसके अलावा ओपनिंग और ऑपरेशन ऑफ द BSD अकाउंट डेफिनेटली वहाँ पे एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग गाइडलाइंस, नो योर कस्टमर गाइडलाइंस, उनके ऊपर कोई भी रिलैक्सेशन यहाँ पे नहीं मिलने वाला है, राइट? अ बैंक while opening a BSD account shall not impose any kind of इनिशियल डिपॉजिट और इनिशियल मिनिमम डिपॉजिट रिक्वायरमेंट, वो बिल्कुल यहाँ पे आपका जीरो बैलेंस अकाउंट खुलने वाला है, राइट? दैट विल बी अ जीरो बैलेंस अकाउंट। अच्छा, कस्टमर अपना एग्जिस्टिंग अकाउंट भी BSDA अकाउंट के अंदर कन्वर्ट करवा सकता है, उसका भी यहाँ पे प्रोविजन है, राइट? सो इन टुडेज लेक्चर गाइज वी हैव लर्नड अबाउट द इंटरेस्ट रेट रिलेटेड डेरिवेटिव सर्कुलर विच वॉज क्वाइट कॉम्प्लेक्स, डेफिनेटली इट वॉज, राइट? पर आपको एग्जाम्पल्स में काफ़ी सारा मजा आया होगा, काफ़ी सारी टर्म्स ऐसी भी है जो आपको नहीं आती होगी, but no worries at all. We'll be bringing a separate video on derivatives related to that terms also in the near future. No worries at all. Okay. But I will say that कि आप उन terms के ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा focus मत करो, circular के crux के ऊपर ज़्यादा focus करो. That will be very much relevant for you guys from the examination point of view, right? From the examination point of view, you have to learn the basics of derivative, and in that particular circular, that is the terms are related to advanced derivative terminologies that are not very much required for the examination purpose, right? But आपको वहाँ की limits बहुत अच्छे से आने चाहिए, बहुत advanced terminologies पढ़ने जाओगे तो आपका कोर्स बाकी का compromise होगा. I won't advise you that. Still, we will definitely cover it in some other video related to derivatives. Okay? For those who are targeting the RBI Grade B examination, this is a paid course for all of you guys. You can definitely check out, right? And for those who want to get in touch with me related to anything, or you want to join some study group, then you can definitely join that. My Telegram group is, if you type CA Prateek Finance on Telegram, you will get my Telegram group. Okay. So thank you so much for watching the video, guys. I hope this is full of learning for all of you. And these are the course highlights. Later on, you can check them and you can enroll in RBI Grade B course 2026. This is with books. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.